kids are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When trans kids are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our sisters are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our brothers are under attack, what do we do?
Hi, we're in London. Look at this amazing turnout off the back of the Supreme Court ruling against trans rights. I'm pretty sure there's thousands of people here. There's plenty of people come out to stand up for trans people, the trans community, and those who are most marginalised and vulnerable in our society.
We got a little bit choked up at Westminster Station. There were so many parents here today with their children, and that for me is the biggest thing. I think if you can see parents showing their children from such a young age that everyone is important, everyone matters, trans women are women, trans rights are human rights, that is the best thing for me.
So my name is Danny Bucking, I'm 13 years old and I'm here because of my sister. Less people are supporting it, which means more people are becoming sexist and homophobic, and it's definitely a problem because we need people who support each other.
My name's Natalie, I am a trans woman and we're here fighting for liberation.
And how do you feel about the Supreme Court ruling?
None of it's based on facts, it's all based through conservative fear-mongering, to be perfectly honest. It's horrible.
All the decisions that have been made without any trans voices in the room. We want to be there, let us be there. Stop excluding us. We're people too.
Very much showing that we should be a part of the conversation, part of the equation, rather than it being old white men that are sat in chairs.
We felt the same way that everyone did when we heard the news. So disappointed, number one. My heart breaks for every trans woman, and not just trans women, but women that don't conform to society's standard of what a woman is. So I think it's so important that we're here today and showing solidarity with every woman.
And if you could speak directly to the Supreme Court, what would you say to them?
Am I allowed to swear? Fuck you.
We're not here to hurt people, we just want to go to the toilet. That's it.
Have some humanity, like just remember that like we're all people, like we're already seeing how damaging it is to like trans women and the trans community more broadly. I just don't understand why it needs to be pitting like cis women against trans women. I think we're fighting like the wrong people.
There's also been rulings inside the NHS to take away healthcare for trans people across the board, both trans men and trans women. And it's just one further step to take away the rights of anyone on the LGBT spectrum eventually.
My name's Cass, I'm a doctor, and I'm here because I think all of our patients and our colleagues need to know that we're going to stand by them.
How do you feel about the Supreme Court ruling?
I think the law itself is quite complicated to understand, so I think it's a little bit more complicated than just choosing one way or another. But the way that people have decided to take it is not okay.
I completely agree with you.
For example, the British Transport Police choosing to go that way with it, literally that has nothing to do with it. So I really don't understand why certain groups are doing that.
Trans women are women, they are our sisters. We don't exclude. Yeah, what we do is we include and we support and we care.
Feminism must be intersectional. We have to care about not just our sisters, but all sisters. And I'm currently studying psychotherapy at the moment, and I think that you have to be inclusive. If I'm not going to be inclusive for my clients and the people that I am working with for their mental health, then and not showing up for them, how can I call myself an advocate for them? Intersectionality affects everyone. When you look at your identity, you're not just one person. You are actually the makeup of all of these different identities that bring into who you are as a person. I'm a woman, but I'm also bisexual. I'm also American. I'm also an American living abroad. There are so many things that make up my identity. I'm also neurodivergent, and these are all things that we have to think about when we're talking about the broader conversation. You can't have a conversation about intersectionality without thinking about people, specifically Black transgender women who are at the forefront of gay rights, and Marsha P. Johnson. We can't think about things like that without thinking about these wonderful human beings who are always fighting for our rights.
I'm not going to lie, the last few days, especially since the ruling, I've been absolutely terrified. I'm a cis woman, but I've got trans siblings, trans family, trans friends, and I think at this point, having as many people showing their support, knowing that not all hope is lost, that we're still coming out.
We're here, we're queer.
trans people, you can move to LGBT, you can move to women's rights, you can move by trans kids, you can move to Gillick competence, which is what Boris Johnson was hinting at. And so it seems that we need to get people conscious that this is not about trans rights ultimately, it's about everybody's rights. And they're trying to set precedents, and that's why I'm here.
Well, I'm absolutely over the moon because yesterday I was so upset. I was very, very upset. And angry, but I was mainly upset. So me and my husband, we woke up this morning and we said, we're coming out. And my husband said, what am I going to wear? I said, the colours, just wear the colours. I've been told that Parliament Square can take 15,000 and it was way spilling out. So some people saying 25,000, I don't know, but what a turnout.
My name's Shane and I'm here to support my trans friends who are sat just behind me and the whole trans community, to be honest, because drag queens would be nothing without them, let me tell you. But yeah.
And how do you feel the turnout today?
I was like genuinely shocked. Like this, I started seeing news of this on like Instagram and wherever like 2 days ago maybe. And like, I mean, look, I'm so happy that so many people have like come and supported, but yeah.
And what would you say to people watching? Like, what does allyship actually look like? What could we be doing to actually show our allyship?
Allyship is checking in on your trans sisters, coming to protest, not just sitting on your couch, like resharing the things. We can't just sit on our phones anymore and like tell people on the Instagram stories like, you should think this, you should think that. We need to come out to the streets and show it because like the government don't give a fuck if we're sat on our phones. Like they do not care in the slightest, but here they are forced to give a fuck.
Oh, it takes all sorts of shapes and forms. This is one form, this is one way showing up at protest. I know people who are at home who are like writing to their MPs, phoning their MPs. They're just creating artwork, they're creating things in support of their trans siblings and their trans fans. Like, it looks like so many different things.
I think speaking out to your friends, I think saying things like, hey, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this.
I think it means getting out there, but I think it also means questioning yourself internally and those around you. I think it's about really undoing. Yeah.
Well, the main thing you can do is stand up for your trans siblings. If someone's talking against them, you can like inform them, you can research and inform how to make people aware, because it's 0.1% of the UK, so it's like that trans women are not going to attack you. Trans women have never been a problem. Like, just let people be people.
I think a lot of it is about being present, like we've managed to experience here, and then from there prioritising trans and non-binary voices in the conversations that you have and allowing them to take centre stage.
We need to listen. We need to, and also stand up and use the privilege that we have, because even though we have, like I said, people can be intersectional, they can have different facets that are oppressed, they also have different facets that aren't oppressed, and we need to use those facets of ourselves and our identity to stand up for other communities that are still being oppressed actively.
Allyship for me is doing the hard work, going home, reflecting on how you have benefited from this system, how you could maybe do a little bit more for the community. That isn't just donating, that is your everyday life. Be vocal on social media, call those people out in your life that are doing wrong, come out to protest and show that you stand for something, and we need to make sure that everyone in this country is comfortable, safe, and has the right to a better life.
Many, many years ago, I stopped talking to my mum because she was very rude to a partner I had who was trans. And it's my greatest shame that I let it get that far. I think what I would recommend for everyone to think about is we are all waiting for the crunch time of when it's so far that we have to do something. And by then it's too late. I think I should have done and said things a lot sooner. That was a long time ago, but even now there are things that I think a lot of us are holding back on before we kind of take a little bit of a harsher stand, and I don't think we can wait until we're pushed.
Fuck West Streeting! Fuck West Streeting! Fuck West Streeting! Fuck West Streeting! Fuck West!
I think MPs actually voting. So most of the Labour Party abstained from voting against the Section 35 blocking of Scotland. Now just imagine what happened there. The first time Section 35 had ever been used to stop from England stopping Scotland actually enacting a law, and I thought that would be I thought the Scots would go incandescent. But somehow, if you choose people like trans people, oh, maybe this is just a one-off, maybe it won't go. But the reason they do it is to set a precedent. And imagine that they would risk the union just to go after trans people. Now, who does that?
It's what I also find utterly pathetic, disgusting, and, trying to find other words, stupid, is the complete lack of discussion about our trans men.
Exactly, they're always missed out of the conversation.
Yeah, because they can't work that one through, because all of their hatred and misinformation and misunderstanding, which I think is rooted from a position of fear and resentment and anger, which unfortunately has been directed in the wrong place, yeah? Because women do have reason to be angry. We are discriminated against. Some of us, have experienced very oppressive, exploitative acts against us, both by individuals, by states, by organisations. So I completely understand why some women are anxious and fearful. But to direct their anger in that way is unforgivable. But also to have such a narrow understanding of the human experience and to ignore and diminish the struggle of the trans men in our community and what this will mean for them as well. That also really irritates me.
The ruling is terrible, but I think the danger comes more with the way that people may respond to it. It's about making sure that people understand what their rights are given the ruling that's occurred, and from there being able to act in a way that's appropriate.
Do you think there's any political party at the moment that actually tries to defend trans rights right now, or trans people?
I think the vast majority of them are fair weather parties. The only one that sort of has had our back throughout the process are the Greens, but they come with their own set of challenges, let's say.
I could say maybe Green Party, maybe Liberal Democrats. I don't know enough about it. I know Tories and Labour are nothing to do with trans rights.
The only one I really trust at the moment is who I voted for in the last election, which is Lib Dem. They had the best trans policy and said that they were going to, if I remember correctly, they're going to bring in the self-ID.
The Green Party are very on board with things, or they were last time I was here. So, I know that Labour sadly have been massive wankers the last couple of years, sadly. I feel Green is probably the one.
It's basically voting for whoever does the least amount of harm to us, I guess.
The turnout's actually feeling very promising. I think we came out and thought it was going to be a couple hundred, but there are so many people out here chanting, screaming for trans rights, so important. I think this decision obviously isn't happening in isolation. It's happening at a time when we're seeing fear-mongering and propaganda being pushed around the trans community, and to see so many people stand up in solidarity with each other is so exciting.
And there are some people I know who want to be here today who can't make it. I think it's about showing up and making sure that people feel like they're being listened to, they're being supported. I'm queer myself, so I know we just all have to stand together. Never take a step backwards, and make sure that all of these people, my trans allies, know that they're so important to me because they've made me feel so loved.
Very marginalised community. They are a minority in this country, a minority globally, and the fact that there's this huge pushback against them, all the sensationalism, all the propaganda, this feels heartwarming, but obviously off the back of what's happening with the Supreme Court, it does feel quite intense, but really emotional. I really love it, and I think what matters here, that trans voices are put at the forefront, and not so much as cisgender people who seem to be dominating the narrative. Amazing.
Support independent media, support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.